Hello, everyone. Welcome back to our Black Lives Matter discussion that we have every week. We are number 55. And today we're going to be discussing the hypersexualization of Black people and how that, what that looks like, how that plays into society. And then, we'll do healing work around that as usual. So for me, what I know about it so far is people will try to hypersexualize Black people to kind of try to make them look evil, if I had to describe it in my own words. So yeah, and I remember Adedeji had a really good example of this a long time ago. I can't remember the woman's name, but that's what they were doing to her because she was really, really beautiful and people were mad about it. So they tried to pick at her and make problems with her to kind of tear her down in a way. Yeah, so I don't remember her name. I don't know if you want to say anything about it.
Brown.
Yeah, word. Yeah, I don't fully remember that story. But it also it's a way of oppression. Um, and yeah, how I personally feel about it is sad. um, yeah, I'm the floor is open if anyone has any more insight to this.
Yeah, so I think just to expand a little bit on our introduction as well, is kind of, and it's the energy of looking at it from many perspectives. So one of those things was obviously, as you said, the almost evil perception or portrayal. But then there's also the other flip side of the exoticism of Black people. And so it just continues to perpetuate the stereotype of otherness. And I think one of the things that we spoke about in the past was, the portrayal of Black women as the Jezebel or the temptress. The portrayal as Black men, of Black men as the animal, the sexual animal, the almost super gene athlete kind of thing. So I think it's worth just mentioning that there are various components and stereotypes that play out in this hypersexualization of Black people that probably puts them in quite a, for lack of a better expression, mostly uncomfortable positions more than anything else. And I think one of the things that I read through in the article that you shared with us was also that just it doesn't matter what frame you put it in, it always fuels the otherness, which is the thing that we are looking at healing through this conversation, is to heal that sense of otherness in systems, in practices, in relationships, in friendships, in society, in generalizations. And so it does make sense to just kind of explore the feelings related to those things as they come up, because we have found that there's always a core piece that comes up as we delve into the topic. So yes, that's my sense of the expanded, the expansive nature of this topic. And so yeah, let's open it up to everybody else and see how they feel and possibly even how they may have experienced it in their lives.
I would like to just kind of, unless you were gonna say something first, but I had a dream recently. Well, not exactly recently, but like it was like what it felt like kind of to be in perfect union. And the reason I say this is because like in my dream, everyone was with their twin flame and everyone was naked. And I say that part because like everyone was naked, but everyone was in perfect union, so no one was like looking at each other in that way. You know what I mean? Because we were all just like one with God, so it wasn't like an inappropriate dream, you know? And so this hypersexualization stuff, like it's definitely like deep rooted, and it needs to be healed because it's like just continuing the separation. So yeah, that was my piece.
I'll add something, little something here. Um, there is a little bit of a, what's the best word to use? I guess I can say consciousness. There is a consciousness where African Americans are fetishized with men and women. Uh, oh, can I say this? Okay, so okay.
Can you say what? Just spit it out, Deji.
All right, all right, all right. All right, I'm gonna let it out. Okay, so you know how there's that phrase in the world where the blacker the berry, the sweeter the juice type shit. You know what I mean? Everyone knows that phrase, right? Like black women are fetishized because they think that they're, is sweet, quote unquote, and black men are fetishized because you get where I'm going, right?
Big
Okay,
shoes.
that too. Um, See, that's why I didn't want to say it.
I
But
was just like being discreet, you know, like we all
yes,
get it.
Okay. So here's my thing about what you're sharing is that that energy of not saying what you need to say is something that needs to be healed as well.
okay,
And there is, I agree that there's a line of finessing what you say, but you also just actually do need to say what the issue is,
okay.
so that we are peaceful in kind of healing into that space. So yes, don't be crass, don't be, for lack of a better
Prudish,
expression,
prudish.
ghetto. Don't be ghetto about it, but don't be a prude either.
Yeah, I think the big part
Okay.
here is that like we are all adults, and I'd be like surprised if kids are watching this. But to be that
Exactly.
transparent about it,
Yes.
especially because
And this
there
is gonna
are
be on
certain words
YouTube.
that
We
like,
have to.
yeah, I guess you're right. Yeah, so they're like just being very mature about it, really, and understanding that
Yes.
like you're just really wanting to get your point across clearly.
Yes. But yeah, they're uh long story short, African Americans are fetishized, and I think we all can see this, through, the mass media and also just behind closed doors. But I think, like what I just said, a lot of people aren't going to say this to your face, but most of the time, it's a fetishized kind of situation.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think it's literally what you said in terms of the phrasing of it. So that blacker the berry, sweeter the juice kind of thing. That once you go black, you won't go back kind of thing, and all that kind of shit. And I think at the end of the day, when you feel into it, like it almost feels on a level complimentary, but on a level it's rather insulting. It's like, actually, what the hell is wrong with you? What makes a black person a fetish? What makes a black person so exotic that sex with them is this magical thing that's going to completely transform your life, so that you are completely ruined for every other race that might be interested in you? That kind of shit is what like that irritates me personally. Like it's the level of, well, what the hell are you actually looking at? What the hell are you thinking? How do you see me in that way? And possibly there's two streams here. There's a stream of we need to heal it in consciousness, but it's also the stream of if it's vibrating into my reality, what energy am I portraying? Or possibly even if there's an energy leak in that space in one way or another. And so it kind of it speaks to something that Kanisha posted this week. How about we try the new Heal Girl thing as the Heal Girl summer as opposed to Hot Girl summer, you know, kind of stuff. It's all that subtle nuance that feeds the bullshit. And let's just call it what it is. It's bullshit. I mean, I don't know how you guys feel about it, but for me, that's really the sense of it. It's bullshit. Like if I have to deal with all of those stupid little stereotypes, or even just overcome all of those stupid little stereotypes, it takes away my energy from focusing on what I actually really want to focus on. And it takes away my energy from fully showing up as myself, because is somebody going to see this in a way that I unintentionally didn't actually think my behavior was portraying? So it kind of puts, it kind of gives me the sense that I have to be even more careful about how I show up.
Isn't that exhausting too? Like being even more careful?
But that's exactly the thing.
Yeah.
That's exactly what I'm speaking to. The energy that it's fueling. It's like there's that sense of you can't just. And sometimes I just feel like it. I can't just be myself. Like
Yeah.
I have to constantly be aware that there may be other narratives running in other people's minds, and that I may be inadvertently fueling it.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, I understand what you mean. I think when you're not on the healing path, it hurts a bit. A lot, actually. But when you understand that you are not responsible for how people see you and the version of you that they want to see, I think you can let go of that, and this feels much more relaxing, because I remember when I moved here, you know, from multicultural place to a mostly white place, and I remember I felt that parties here, like student parties, were a lot more sexualized than what I had been accustomed to. But somehow it was the exotic thing, I guess. All the stereotypes that people can imagine, and that they ask you first, even sometimes before asking you about your name. And this feels pretty annoying. And it went on, like, I thought it was like just the first year, but it went on as soon as I met um, new people. So yeah, when I healed that, I guess it showed up less. And actually, I guess this year I learned about how to have boundaries as well. Um, and I'm still learning about that. But yeah, the thing that is really annoying me, and the thing that disturbed me and started the topic, was like this show on national TV about, it's a comedian that runs this show and his production. It's pretty good, actually, in general. And so they were doing this show on a musical genre born in the French Caribbean called zouk, which is like a music and a dance. And it's worldwide known. It's pretty complex. It's beautiful. Like, there's a lot to its history, but like the only thing that he showed was, well, there were like two or three facts, and then it showed like tropical, paradise, exotic, like sexy dances, parties, sexual people. And like what was insulting was like literally you have like the biggest French group who is still not recognized today because they were the first to fill a stadium full of people and sold it out. They are known worldwide. They created a genre that created all the genres and is influencing pop culture today because a lot of Caribbean music is influencing pop culture. And the only thing that you want to say is like sex and parties. I mean, yeah, like this is pretty childish to me to see that as that because it's so much more like it's a genre and it's a dance that you can dance with your family. Of course, you don't dance as you would with a romantic partner, but like it's more than that. It's like culture, it's ancestry, it's family, it's communion, like community. There's so much more to say about that than just sex. And it's like a dance for hot-blooded people, you know? So that's when it's really annoying. Not when it's personal anymore, but more so when it takes from truly showing the real beauty and complexity of something, of a culture. It's like disrespecting a whole culture, basically.
I like what you said around when you're on a healing path, that it kind of changes. But one of the things that I also always scan is if it shows up in my reality. There's a little bit of a vibrational match still there, because I created in my reality. So if it's showing up in my reality, something is aligning to it in some way or another. And so I agree with you that when you're on a healing path, it does diminish and the instances of it become fewer, and you probably experience it a lot less. And you might even experience exactly the same thing very differently because you understand the intention behind what's happening, behind other people's behavior. And so you're like, for me, it's the feeling that I'm not an island. And that's why I still need, it's coming up in my reality to assist with the healing. It's vibrating into my reality because this is the path the path I chose in terms of healing those components. So yes, you're on a healing path, but if those things show up, there's a match. And it's important to look at it as well.
Yeah, it's true. I think the problem, like at least with Caribbean culture, is that as people put you in these boxes, there's a tendency to stay there and like over-represent what that means. I don't know if you get it, but it's like, well, when, for example, you're in a public places and you're with your Caribbean friends, you will show that you are Caribbean and you will be loud and you know have that party energy. And so yeah, I guess in a sense to me it feels like black people are a bit like sabotaging themselves because they are thinking like, oh well, like what else can I show? Who else can I be but that if all that other people can see is the stereotypes. So it's like a vicious cycle that we kind of have to get out of. I say that about Caribbean culture, but I guess we could say that about rap and twerking. I think Anastasia was talking about that in the chat as well.
What did you say? What was the last part?
Oh, I said we could say that as well with rap culture.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, they like that's all they talk about, a lot of them, you know, like not all of them, but yeah, it's just like constantly. um yeah, and like I kind of had like a similar experience too. Like at the time I was really young, so I didn't really understand that that's what was happening. But like people would always like come up to me and be like, "Oh, you have really big lips," and da 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 da, and I'm just like now it's like creepy, right? But like I was so young that I didn't understand like that was what exactly what was happening. I was being sexualized in that way. um yeah, so yeah. And yeah, all we can do, it's like Granville said, is can like heal within, so that, you know, because that heals the consciousness too. So yeah. Oh, and also I just wanted to like say something else actually, because Granville brought up like the once you go black, you never go back. I was just wanting to say that like my mom completely obliterated that lie, because my younger siblings are white.
Well, thanks to your mom for obliterating that line.
I wanted to retouch on both something that Yurine and Anastasia touched on, was like this self-sabotaging of like what people expect of, I guess, the Black culture. One thing that I had recognized, like I love to go out dancing, and I always dress modestly. Like I'm not one to like show my tatas or like let my ass hang out. But it is a theme with a lot of the Black women who do go to the club, where like they're wearing enough to where it covers enough, and when you feel into it, it's like this attention of almost like this is all I got, so I better flaunt it type thing. Like a really deep insecurity. And I've actually had like men like talk to me about like you are fully dressed. Like how come like you don't wear like your cute little dresses? And I'm like, because that's not for you. Like the outfit ain't for you. I don't know what to tell you. But like it's almost like this expectation that I have to like show up in a certain way because I'm Black. And I Yurine touched on it, like about 90% of the time, if someone's going to come talk to me, it's never like, hi, what's your name? It's always, you are so exotic looking. Do you mind me asking what you are? And I'm just like, and when I tell them, they almost seem disappointed. I'm like, I'm African American and Hispanic mixed with whatever else God like sprinkled in there. And they're just like, oh, that's it? And I'm just, yes. So it's almost like this, like, you have to like show, or you don't have to, because I don't. I'm who I am, and they come this way. But you mentioned like there's something that we are still aligned with, that it is attracting that to us, and so I'm more interested to go into that and get clear on that, because it's not something that I enjoy. I'd prefer that someone would want to come talk to me just to talk to me, not to like pull something from me or try to like get information from me in a sense. But yeah, it's this energy that just because I look exotic, they expect me to be exotic in a sense. They expect me to
Yeah.
like show up in a certain way, and I'm just like, no, it's not happening.
Yeah, it kind of is like devaluing ourselves, you know, because you mentioned like the other women at the club like purposely
Yeah.
are, you know, wearing stuff like
Yeah. And there's a feeling for me, it's like I feel embarrassed for them. I almost like want to be that mama and like go like, girl, cover up, put some clothes on. Like I don't know to like there's moments where you're just like, I'm a little embarrassed myself to be a Black woman right now, because like you were totally giving us a different name at this moment, or a different perception. And so it's yeah, it's a kind of it's a uncomfortable feeling.
You know, there's something that you said. Sorry.
Oh,
I think Kanisha, you pretty much explained it all. It's an attention thing. It's like I'm singing Beyonce in my head right now. You know that song, Check on It. If you got it, flaunt it, boy, I know you want it. Yeah, it's that kind of.
Yeah.
You know
No,
that.
I
You all
totally.
know that song, so don't even try to front. Anyway, but yeah,
I haven't heard that song since middle school. But no,
that's
you're
too deep to
absolutely
go.
right.
Anyway, yeah.
Oh
Absolutely.
no. I don't know what to say. You mentioned something about like um the women going out to the club and flaunting it like it's all that they got. And that reminded me of like articles that I read and even like past discussions that we had about Black women and men feeling like they are less desired um, because of their complexion and less likely to find partners, or it would be more difficult because they are not what society expects beauty to look like. This is not the construction of beauty in society. And so it's like, I think it's like this hypersexualization in a way serves us. Like there's something that we are getting out of it in the consciousness. I mean, like we are getting like desirability out of it, I guess, in a way that we can have it otherwise. So it's pretty sad. Um, it was like powerlessness, but yeah, that's what it made me think of.
Yeah, I think everybody's touched on quite a significant piece, but I think Kanisha, you mentioned just going into that space of actually being approached for being a person and just somebody having an interest in talking to you for the interest of talking to you, not necessarily getting something or things like that, and I agree with you. Like it's like I've been a dance teacher in my life, and just dancing as a person of color also puts you in that space because rhythmically it just seems like people of color have more rhythm, and so there's more sensual movement, and you know what, I'm just going to say it. I said it seems. Teji, stop. Yeah, but
You said it.
it's
You
just,
said it, not me. But okay,
yeah,
go
I
ahead.
did say it. I did say it, and I have come across it quite a bit in my life. But it's almost that, and it's I think Yoreen, you spoke to that energy of portraying a level of desirability in your clothing and the movement and it's that almost, it does feel like an energy leak. And that's why I said Kanisha had that piece. It makes sense to me because it was one of my pet peeves. Like, I want to dance and have fun. So I don't want somebody pawing all over me on the dance floor and crap like that. And I don't want to walk into a place and be known as the dancer either. Like, just like, let me be. I'm not here for your entertainment kind of shit. So yeah, I think you had the piece, Kanisha. And so yeah, like when you feel into it, how do you feel about it?
I feel it just feels heavy to have like an expectation on me, like before they even have like a conversation with me. That it feels like there's like an expectation.
Mm. And can you see that part of yourself that's kind of feeling burdened in this way?
Yeah.
Mm. So what does she need to feel that right now?
to not give a fuck about what people think. Yeah, that's actually it. To literally let that go. That's really what it's like. Be good about that stuff.
Well, that was just like properly direct to it. What she actually need to feel.
Yeah. She just wants permission to like only focus on like what God thinks of her, and that is her perfection. And that
I'd like to go ahead and just give her that permission right now.
Yeah.
And as you give her that permission, how does she feel?
Feels powerful.
And as her power returns, what can she let go of?
That need to like just let go of the expectation of how I personally show up, like just showing up in what feels good to me.
And also to let go of the expectation that everybody's going to be like her, and that it's okay to set firm boundaries in the spaces that don't feel appropriate.
Yeah,
and as you give her that permission to set those boundaries, what does it free her from?
Judgment.
As that mantle of judgment lifts, how does she feel now?
More relaxed in my space.
Just free to actually be herself, right?
Yeah. I guess that's like part of it is like a part of me is like afraid to just be myself because people think like I'm trying to get attention. For like example, like my hair, someone was like, "Do you just do that because you like the attention of people complimenting you?" And I felt into it, and I was like, "Well, I do love compliments. I like appreciate that." But personally, growing up, I wasn't allowed to have color in my hair because it will kill it. It will fry it. And now that I found a way to allow myself to be playful with my hair and have color, like it feels good to me. But I did find that a part of me was afraid to just show up in the way that I wanted to express myself. People think that I want attention. And so I think that's really the core of what I was trying to get to is like, what is that I'm attracting? Because it's like, I just want to be freely express myself.
Yeah, it's just like this place where you just have to give yourself that attention, basically. Like, because I'm not saying you're looking for attention, but like we all just like continually, you know, have that come up where we have to give ourselves more attention.
Yeah, I just give myself that attention. I guess the part of it was like it's not even giving myself the attention. It's almost that I didn't want the like attention in that way. Like it was, I felt like it was a negative attention. I guess it's a different energy of like there's positive attention and negative attention.
But here's the place where you can actually let go of the narrative and feel the purity behind your intention. So your intention is to allow yourself the freedom to be as expressive as you would like to be for you.
Yes.
Whether that attracts compliments or not is actually immaterial. And so as you let go of that narrative, is it okay for you to express yourself as you please?
Absolutely.
And how does that feel?
Freeing.
Exactly. And the whole point of it is that as you express your divine beauty in whichever way it is, whatever feels good to you, if it's not based on an outward intention, does it matter that people may have an opinion on it?
No, because I love it so much.
Right. And so it's safe for them to have their opinion and for you to put up the boundaries that you need to put up, because you're not doing it for attention. You're doing it to express yourself, to allow yourself the freedom that you didn't have before, or the freedom that you weren't allowed to display before. How does that feel?
Nailed it on the head, Granville. That's how I feel. That's exactly.
Awesome. Awesome. Is anything else coming up for you?
Yeah, actually. Ooh, I feel this like bring up some emotion of like I always felt like because of like my beauty, I always felt the need to like make myself small, especially around like older men, because of the way that they would look at me or the comments that they would make. And so I find that like even like with my posture, because of that, I would like go like this a lot or like duck down. And so like there's like this deep sadness of feeling like I have to hide myself so that I'm not hypersexualized, or they don't look at me like, I don't even know how to explain it, like something to eat. I don't know how to explain it. I just
Are you the child of a hiding? Are you the child of a hiding God? Are you the child of a constricted God?
no.
No, you're not. You're not the child of a constricted God. You're not the child of a hunched up God. You are a child of a divine God. You have God's divinity. And so God's divinity and God's power can shine through you very peacefully and very comfortably.
Yeah.
How does that feel?
Feel secure and safe.
And do you deserve to assert yourself in the best way you can for you?
Yes, I do deserve that.
And so is it okay to assert yourself in spaces where before you may not have been able to do it peacefully?
Yeah, it's safe to do that.
How does that feel?
Powerful.
Now, where does your power come from?
God.
Exactly. And it's always going to come from God. And you don't have to display oodles of power. You just need to sit in your power.
Yeah, I just have confidence in my power.
And as you allow that confidence in your power to return, how do you feel?
I feel good. You mentioned that I just needed to have strong boundaries here, and that was just like instead of looking at them as an equal, I would like look at them as somehow superior to me. And that's where like that also feeling smallness would like come in. It was like it wasn't okay for me to stand up for myself, but I choose to let that go and know that it is safe for me to stand up for myself. I have strong boundaries in this space.
Absolutely. It's also okay for you to vibrate at the level where you resign from the bullshit business.
Yes.
How does that feel?
Vibrate to that level. It feels good.
And so how do you feel now?
Feel more of like a deeper level of stability.
Yeah, because your stability comes from God. And so as you allow God to shine through you, you will feel more stable and more balanced, and you will feel more secure and more confident in who you are. and in your expression and in the intention behind your behavior as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so when you think about where there may have been vibrational matches to things that you didn't feel were appropriate, how do you feel now?
Having compassion and forgiveness.
And how do you personally feel about you?
I guess there's a,
Pardon?
like, honestly, there's just like a little bit of like this like feeling of like self-hatred, to be honest.
Well, can you just let that go? What purpose is that serving?
Mm. No, it's not.
Do you get anything from it?
No.
In fact, what it might be doing is depleting your energy. It might be depleting your life force. And so is it appropriate to release that?
Yeah, it was appropriate to release it. It's just to release
Mm.
it.
And so as you release it, and you invite your life force and your life energy to flow peacefully in with you, within you. How do you feel now?
Feel lighter.
Yes. And so that energy of compassion and forgiveness is appropriate for you and for those situations where you were in before.
Mm-hmm.
And so if you felt into any of those spaces, is there any residual resentment?
Yeah, but I just left that there.
And it's okay to have those feelings. It's not okay to allow them to remain when you know how to heal them.
Okay.
You know how to heal those places that frees you from another layer of baggage that's not necessary.
Mm.
How does that feel?
Relieving.
And in that relief, can you feel your peace returning to you?
Yes, I can.
As you allow that peace to return, are there any other feelings that are still sitting there or may still be coming up?
No, I feel free completely.
Perfect. Would you like to just allow all of that to integrate?
Yeah.
Just welcome all of those parts of your home that did all of that wonderful healing work. Just allow them to settle in into the fullness of you.
Thank you.
Thank you. That was really awesome.
Thanks. I feel good.
Yes, I did. I thought it felt good to me too, and I think and then that's why I felt like you had the peace, because the energy of it was for me that there's a surface thing and then maybe a slightly lower surface thing, but there's stuff that you can actually go to the core with, which is really nice, because as you kind of clean out the layers of top cobwebs, for lack of a better phrase, you get to the like deep stuff, which is always the fun stuff to heal, right?
Yeah, and what was coming up to me too, now that you say that, was like it came back to like your worth and value, like having that deep respect for yourself. I mean, that is one of the 8 key foundations or keys to your foundation of your harmonious union is respect. And so really having like that deep level of respect, because at the core we all are attracting what it is that we think we're worthy of. And so I think due to like, I think I've touched on it here before, but like having like sexual childhood traumas, that there was still part of me that was still vibrating at that trauma. And so I was having it be mirrored back to me. But since I've healed a lot of that in MAP, I actually don't receive that nearly as much now. And when I do, I respect myself enough to be able to put a boundary up. And they usually just like leave my space. So I don't have to give too much attitude. I'm just like, yeah, no, we're not doing that. Bye. All right.
Yeah. So like, bye-bye. Bye-bye,
Yeah,
be gone. You know, it's almost that energy of be gone, Satan.
yeah, exactly. And sometimes it's really interesting because I've had moments where like I'm really in, like I had a moment where I was at the bar and I was watching a basketball game. It was before Kobe died, and I was really into this game. And I probably had like 2 or 3 gentlemen throughout the night come up and be like, "Smile more. You look prettier if you smile." And I'm just like, I'm watching a basketball game. Would you go away? Like, you see what I'm doing here. Like, so really just having to put up those strong boundaries and just not even give it attention, really.
Yeah, and you know, and it's literally, it's like the intentional boundary in and of itself is perfect,
Yeah.
because as you said, it just filters into your reality less and less and less all the time, because people, while we might not believe it, people are really great at reading vibrations. They're really great at it. Like to not discount that anybody has a similar intuition to what we all do. Like there's no separation. They were very good at reading energetic boundaries. There really is no separation there. Some people just will probably try to overstep anyway, because it's the nature of people to try. But people are very, very good at reading energetic boundaries and understanding limitations when you know specifically what your energy is bringing up and what energy you're walking around with. And then that's one of the things that I've been able to kind of just, see the changes in my reality, is that I don't get untoward attention as much. It's just like, no, you'd like people, like, it's just, this is my value, match it or leave it. I don't have a problem. Match it or leave. We don't have to have this conversation. Match it or leave. And it's the intention behind it. And I think it's the energetic boundary of going, well, actually, I just don't choose it in my reality. And what we have learned very powerfully through all of our work in Twin Flames Ascension School is your choice is powerful. And as you make those powerful choices, you create in your reality the things that you want. It's just as simple as that. There's no confusion here.
Yeah, I agree. I liked what you said about like people knowing how to read uh, our vibration. I felt this was really healing too for my inner child. Because as we know, Black girls are considered adults at a younger age and sexualized at a younger age. I feel that was one of the things that Kenisha was referring to, with like just attention from the older men. It's funny because like my colleagues of color were talking about that at lunch today, and I feel like yeah, we are repairing, like healing that vibration for our inner child um, as well, and respecting, like having that layer of respect for ourselves and love, and like really in this case honoring the divine feminine and the way that she receives and gives energy, and like really like healing, like it feels like a healing balm to like all these energy leaks that we may have experienced. So kind of want to hear from Kalida.
You hear the words are coming out of my mouth. I think this is, you know, I'm going through some stuff over here, but you know, what was coming up for me is, you know, just a lot of what Kanisha was saying was what was coming up. Let me see if I can just kind of put it in words. There is a hypersexualization of, I think, women in general. And unfortunately, I've seen it more in Christian like men, or coming from spiritual like men. And that feels even more like, whoa, like what's happening right now? Because, you know, it's like, whoa, like I would expect this from like random folks, but like, you know, you're like connected to God. But it just goes to show that we are all fighting the battle, if that makes sense. And so I think for me, it's been frustrating and like hurtful to receive that type of attention from someone who you want to connect is connected to God as well and is in relationship with God. And so that was just kind of what was coming up for me as Kanisha was like speaking, and just kind of in general. But it is this reality of like, and so what I was feeling through is it's kind of this over exhaustion of your sexuality. It's like you kind of have to like let your sexuality be known. And it's like, I got it. Like, and so I was just kind of mirroring that of like, what about that has to be overexerted? And I think for me, like, you know, I don't want to diminish this. Like, I'm happy about it, but like, it can suck in some ways. And so I can appear sometimes, or all the time, or whatever times, as what's the word? The word's not naive, but what just kind of mind like Little Miss Prairie or whatever, but as like angelic and like angel and like pure and like, you know, all these different things. And it's like, that's good, like, you know, make me feel that way. But I think as a result of that, it's like there can be an overexertion of like, nah, I'm actually like trying to have pleasure too in the world, you know, or whatever the situation is, you know, for lack of a better word. And so, so I think it's a mirroring of that, but knowing that I don't have to do that. I don't have to kind of reflect that in order to receive that. And yeah, so I feel like I'm rambling right now, but yeah.
I feel like it's important to remember that your innocence as a divine child of God and your sexuality are not separate.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe you are feeling like you are trying to separate them, especially like not wanting to embody the Jezebel trope or any of these media stereotypes that over sexualize Black women, but like sexuality is divine, and so you have to, yeah, it's about finding that, you know, place where where you feel good exploring your sexuality without leaking it. And I guess we're all in that path of like finding that true balance where you are just doing it with God, and it's the best and the only way to experience your own sexuality and humanity, because it's pretty natural.
That's good right there, Yoreem. Innocence and sexuality is not separate. You just set me free.
Ah, yeah, I love that she said that too.
Oh, wow.
Because that's why like Jeff and Shaleia teach what they teach too, and like how, you know, it's only appropriate to have sex with your twin flame. So
And I took I did what's that thing called when you do a quick session and it heals stuff, trauma? Dang, what's that thing called? I done went to another land and I done forgot everything.
Map.
Map. There you go.
Hi, welcome back. It's Map.
I did map, and they started giving words, and my word was innocent, and innocent or innocence or something like that. But that's it right there. Innocence and sexuality is not separate. They're both divine and given from God.
So I do have a card for us that is surrender to trust. Trust yourself and your decisions. Don't be swayed by other people's strong opinions about what to do. Take action and be confident that you have chosen the right path.
So good.
well, damn.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like this little child right here. She's at a pond and she's praying to like the white light, and it just reads innocence all over. I love it.
Yeah, that's perfect. Awesome. So any other concluding thoughts before we wrap up for today? We literally have like 2 minutes to go. You guys feeling complete, yeah?
Complete. I think like the main thing to take from it is just showing up for God. You can't go wrong.
Pardon, say that again?
But just showing up for God, you can't go wrong.
Amen. Awesome. Thank you, everybody. Yeah, I enjoyed that conversation quite a bit, and I hope that everybody that's been following us did as well. Thank you for joining us, and thank you to the team for the conversation. We look forward to seeing all of you next week. We'd also like to invite you to like and subscribe to our Church of Union YouTube channel, where you will find all our previous conversations around why Black Lives Matter. And yeah, if you feel like there are any topics that you'd like us to cover in the upcoming weeks, please feel free to share that as well. You can drop us a comment in the comments for this video, and yeah, we will explore that as well. So thank you, everybody, and we will see you next week.